Okay, time to make our letter Z in 2-point perspective. So we are going to start by looking at this trapezoid right here. Okay, we're going to completely ignore this one. This is going to be the face of our letter Z. Okay, the thinner side is going to be here. Now, I took out this trapezoid and put it over here so that we can look at only that for a minute. When you are going to be putting in your letter into this space, you want to look at things that are parallel to the edges. So this here, these are parallel to each other. So anything that's attached to it, like these edges here, are going to stay parallel to each other. So we're going to have our letter Z added in. So we have two pieces here, and we have one piece on the top and the bottom there. Okay, so here we have our sections. This is where our points of interest will be on the top and the bottom. Okay, so we're going to put that into this first. So I'm going to use the green just so that we can see the ones that are still parallel to each other. So along this edge here, we'll have one piece. This one here is a bit shorter. We have the shorter one up top, and then we have the longer one down here. Okay, so we have this long, short, long, short. Okay. Now, the zigzags that we have that are cut out in here are actually attached to the points that we already have. So we're going to use that to our advantage. The other thing that we're keeping track of, though, is that these edges here in the gray are going to stay parallel to each other as well. So once we draw one of these, we're going to make sure that the other one is staying parallel. So we need our ruler for that. So we have the diagonal here. And I'm just going to kind of put it in randomly for right now. So we have this part here that is coming from the inside. So our Z is in here. And then our opposite one would be coming from the top. But we need to make sure that those stay parallel to each other. Like that. Okay? Now, the next portion that we have are actually going to be the things that are parallel to the top and the bottom of our rectangle. So notice that this one here is parallel to the top and the bottom, and so is that one. Now that changes because this is now a diagonal, and as well as this is now a diagonal. So they would change because anything that is above our horizon line will come down towards our vanishing point. Our vanishing point is over here still, right? And anything that is below will come up. So it's going to mimic the top and the bottom of our trapezoid, okay? So we're going to use our points that we have from here and here for our vanishing point. We're going to connect it to our vanishing point at that same angle. So notice that it's angling down. So I'm just going to go until it's kind of hovering right over the line that's going to be attached to. And we can just attach that there. And then we have our line here that we're going to use on our vanishing point. So we might have drawn a little bit too far here, but that's okay. Okay, so we have a little bit of excess line right there. So pretend like that's not there. Okay, so now we have our letter Z. So we have our angled line here, and we have this one that's coming up there too. Okay, now we need to see the side of our letter. So we have this entire space that we left empty. We're going to be using that together now. Okay, now we have this point. These two lines here are parallel to each other. 1, 2. And now we have the bottom of our letter that has no parallel line that's attached to it. So we're going to use, again, our vanishing point that's on the other side and connect so that we can create a line that is parallel to the bottom, parallel in the 2-point perspective sense. Okay, we're going to do the next one up top. and do the same thing. We have what we know. We are keeping these two lines completely the same. We need another line that's parallel to the bottom, lining up our vanishing point and our point of interest there. And we're lining that up. Now, we see the outside edges, but we do not see the inside yet. Okay, so let's do that. So we need a line that's actually parallel to our diagonal here. So the way that we're going to do that is we're actually going to line up our diagonal line, slide it over until we meet where we would like it to attach, and then drag that line up. Now I'm not going to go completely up because we are actually going to be able to see the underside of this Z. So I'm just going to create that line right here. All right. Now we can see the under part of the Z because we're looking at it up. So if you were to line up this point here with your vanishing point and you have a space in between, then we actually need to draw a line that connects those two that we just created. See that? If you can't see any space between here, then you don't need to do this. So it depends on the angle that you have. Now where these two lines intersect, that is the angle that's going to be attached back over here. But because it's parallel to this line is going to this vanishing point. So it's going to actually be attached to the same vanishing point as the one that it is parallel to. So this one's coming back like that. So now we have this whole underside here in our shadow because the light is coming from here. One more line. This inside part here, because we can see the top of the inside of our Z, we're actually going to see the top of the back of our Z as well. Now, similar to what we were just talking about with this line going back to the vanishing point that it's parallel with, this is actually the line that our back edge is parallel to, just like this one here. So it's actually going to go to the opposite vanishing point. So we keep flipping back and forth. Okay, now there's your Z.